When my parents sold the family house, they didn't even tell me. I found out from a Facebook post. My sister smilingly posed in the background with the caption, "Our wedding gift, thanks Mom and Dad." When asked about my share, Mom laughed, "Do you really think you deserve something?" Then rolled her eyes, "She's starting a real life. You're just wasting space." Dad added, "And what would you do with it? Turn it into another one of your projects and ruin it." They talked about me like I was a joke. I simply replied, "Got it. Thanks for clearing that up." 2 months later, I took the step that changed everything. Now they leave voice messages every day, "Please talk to us. We didn't mean it that way." Okay, here we go. I've never really been the type to air out my family drama online, but this whole situation has been eating at me and I can't keep it to myself anymore. If you've ever wondered just how far parents can go when it comes to picking favorites, buckle up. I'll try not to ramble, but I'm still seeing red, so if this gets a little messy, I apologize in advance. So here's the backstory. My name is Alex. I'm 27 and I grew up with my younger sister, Lisa, who's 25. Our family has this old lakeside cabin that's been passed down through generations. It's nothing fancy, a cozy, slightly crooked place with a wooden deck my granddad built himself. It's about a 40-minute drive from the city, and to me it was like a second home. Summers at the cabin were the highlight of my childhood. Lisa and I would spend weeks there, fishing off the dock, playing endless games of Monopoly, usually ending with someone storming off mid-game and staying up late around the old fire pit, telling ghost stories we'd half make up on the spot. The thing is, Lisa was always the golden child. She's the one who played by the rules, did everything by the book, and never once questioned our parents. Me? I've always been more of the black sheep. Not because I was a rebel or anything, but because I didn't fit the mold they wanted, never followed their idea of the right path. They respected structure and stability, and I've always been more into doing my own thing. It was never an overt disdain for me, it was just a subtle, lingering disappointment. Fast forward to now. I moved out years ago, barely keep in touch. Our family group chat has been dead for over 2 years, except for the occasional forwarded meme from my dad. I guess I always felt a bit like an outsider, but I just shrugged it off and moved on with my life. Still, the cabin was always neutral ground. No matter how strained things got between me and my family, the cabin remained ours, mine and Lisa's equally. Or so I thought. It was a random Saturday when everything changed. I was just doom scrolling on my phone when I got tagged in a Facebook post by someone I barely talk to anymore. Curious, I clicked the notification and there it was, a photo of Lisa dressed like she was shooting for a lifestyle blog, standing proudly in front of the cabin. The caption was what stopped me cold, "Our new home, thank you, Mom and Dad. Can't wait to make memories here." My first reaction was complete confusion. Wedding gift? I knew Lisa had been engaged for a while, but no one ever mentioned the cabin being part of that. I texted her right away asking, "What's this about the cabin?" I got left on read. I started scrolling through the comments and all her friends were congratulating her on getting the place, talking about how lucky she was to have such a beautiful start to her new life. My stomach twisted into knots. I didn't want to believe it. Maybe it was just some exaggerated social media post. I tried calling my mom straight to voicemail. Then my dad, same deal. I sent another text, "Can someone explain what's going on with the cabin?" Nothing. At that point, I wasn't even angry yet, just confused and maybe a bit hurt. 3 days passed before my mom finally called me back. I picked up, trying to keep my voice calm, and asked, "Did you really give the cabin to Lisa?" She laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Oh, Alex, did you really think you'd get anything out of it? Lisa's starting a real life. What would you even do with the cabin? Turn it into one of your little projects and leave it half-finished like always." Her words hit harder than I expected. I wasn't even sure how to respond. I stammered something about how I'd always thought it belonged to both of us, and she just sighed and said, "Lisa deserves it because she's responsible. You don't finish anything you start." I tried to remind her about the work I put into fixing up the deck just last year, but she cut me off, saying, "That doesn't count, it's just busy work." I could feel the familiar burn of resentment creeping in, but I just said, "Got it. Thanks for letting me know." She shot back, "Don't be dramatic," and hung up. I just sat there, phone in hand, trying to make sense of it all. My parents had given away the one place I still felt connected to without even telling me. It wasn't just about the cabin itself, it was the principle, the sense of belonging. The way they spoke to me like I was some clueless kid who didn't understand the real world cut deeper than anything else. I wasn't some aimless failure, I just didn't follow their path. But to them, that meant I didn't deserve to have a say. It was like I didn't exist. Or worse, I was just in the way, an inconvenience in the shiny new life they were planning for Lisa. I wasn't about to let it go. Not this time. I tried not to think about the cabin after that first call with my mom. I really did. But it was like trying to ignore a splinter lodged deep under your skin. It hurt, and it just wouldn't go away. I kept telling myself to let it go, to be the bigger person, but every time I saw another one of Lisa's Instagram posts, posing with her fiancé in front of the cabin, I felt this angry, empty knot twist tighter in my stomach. My friends told me to just forget it. It's just a cabin, they said. Move on, don't let it eat you up. But they didn't get it. It wasn't just a cabin. It was memories of my childhood, of summers spent fishing off the dock, playing card games until midnight, listening to rain on the tin roof. It was the one place where, even if I didn't fit perfectly in my family, I at least felt like I belonged. So I started poking around. I went through my old emails, scrolling back years, trying to find anything about the cabin. I found messages from my granddad, the man who had originally built the place, who had always called it the family retreat. That phrase stuck with me. Family retreat. Not Lisa's retreat. Not their new life starter kit. Family. I remembered he used to talk about a trust. Something he set up to make sure the cabin would always stay in the family, be shared equally. But I never paid much attention to it back then. I was just a kid. I started digging more seriously, pulling out old files from a box in my closet, even going to the county records website, trying to figure out what actually happened to the cabin legally. After a few frustrating nights of scrolling through confusing legal jargon, I finally found it, a copy of the original trust document. And there it was, plain as day: the family cabin shall be held in trust for the benefit of all direct descendants, shared and maintained equally. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. This wasn't just about being left out, this was a breach of the trust. It was supposed to belong to both of us, Lisa and me. I tried one more time to reach out to my parents. I sent a message to the family group chat, not trying to be aggressive, just straightforward. Hey, I've been looking into the cabin situation and I found some things in the trust documents. Can we talk about this? Silence. Not even a read receipt. Feeling a little desperate, I texted Lisa again. Can we please talk about the cabin? I found some paperwork. I just want to understand what's going on. She replied almost immediately this time. Mom and Dad said you're trying to cause trouble. I don't want to get dragged into drama. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. I felt this burning frustration rising in my chest. It was like I was yelling into a void and everyone was pretending they couldn't hear me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I emailed the rest of the extended family. Aunts, uncles, even a couple of cousins I wasn't that close to. I didn't go off on them. I just laid it out plainly. I explained that our parents had given Lisa the cabin without even telling me, despite the fact that it was supposed to be shared property. I attached a copy of the trust document I found. It didn't take long for the whispers to start. My cousin Jess messaged me saying she had no idea and thought the cabin was always meant to be a family spot. My Uncle Rick, who was always a little nosy, replied saying, "Wow, didn't think your parents would pull something like that." My parents must have gotten wind of it because my mom texted me the next day. "Why are you trying to stir up trouble? Lisa is the one who's starting a real life. You never cared about the cabin until now." I replied, "I care because it was supposed to be ours, not just hers." She didn't respond. I ran into my dad at the grocery store a few days later. He saw me, sighed like I was some burden he just didn't have time for, and turned down another aisle. I followed. I couldn't help myself. "We need to talk about the cabin," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He didn't even look at me, just kept walking. "There's nothing to talk about. You don't even use it. You never cared about it." "That's not true. I've been the one fixing it up, helping with repairs." "Oh, please," he finally turned to me, his voice dripping with condescension. "You just wanted an excuse to play handyman. You never finish anything you start." It felt like a slap. But I didn't back down. "You can't just pretend I don't exist, Dad. You gave away something that was supposed to be both of ours. We did what was best for the family. Lisa deserves a fresh start. You? You just waste it." I stood there, staring at him, feeling this numb anger spread through me. "You're not even pretending I matter anymore, are you? Stop being dramatic, Alex." And with that he walked away. I felt like a ghost. Like I was this invisible presence they tolerated because they had to but didn't actually care about. But I wasn't done. If they thought I was just going to disappear quietly, they didn't know me at all. If my parents thought I was just going to drop this, they really didn't know me. But honestly, I didn't expect it to turn into what it did. At first, I was just trying to get a straight answer, some kind of acknowledgement that what they did was wrong. But once I realized they were content to just ignore me like I was some annoying inconvenience, something inside me snapped. I started sharing what I found with the extended family like I'd hinted I might. I wasn't being dramatic or spreading rumors, just the facts. I sent a group email to the aunts, uncles, and cousins I'd always considered decent, attaching the trust documents I found. I told them straight up, Mom and Dad gave the cabin to Lisa without telling me, even though it's supposed to be a family property. I just want to know how this is okay. The reactions were mixed. Some didn't respond at all. A couple sent polite, awkward replies saying they didn't want to get involved. But my Aunt Karen, bless her nosy, meddling heart, immediately called me. I had no idea they did that, she said, her voice a mix of shock and curiosity. Your granddad always talked about that cabin like it was meant for both of you. Exactly, I told her, trying to keep my voice steady. But they're acting like I don't even exist. I started getting texts from my cousins too. Jess, who was always a little on my side, sent a screenshot of the group email to the family group chat. Did anyone know about this? She wrote. And then, for the first time in months, the family chat came alive. My mom messaged me directly within minutes. This is so unnecessary, Alex. Why are you trying to humiliate us? Lisa deserves this. You've never been responsible and you never cared about the cabin. I care about being treated like I exist, I shot back. The silence that followed was deafening. I could practically feel the tension through the screen. But I wasn't done. I started digging even further. I went to the county office website and looked up the property records. And there it was, my parents had transferred the cabin's title to Lisa just 2 months before her engagement, no mention of me anywhere. Legally, they had done it quietly, under the table, hoping I'd never notice. I sent the property record to the family group chat. No context, just the cold, hard proof. Just messaged, this is messed up. My Uncle Rick, who always thought of himself as a peacemaker, tried to calm things down. Let's not blow this out of proportion. I'm sure there's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I laughed out loud. Yeah, a misunderstanding where I was being erased. I messaged my parents again, attaching the property transfer document. How can you even justify this? It's literally against the terms of the trust. No reply. Lisa texted me, why are you doing this? You're ruining everything. Ruining what? I shot back. Your perfect little wedding gift? You stole something that was meant for both of us. Mom and Dad said you didn't care. They said you just caused trouble. Because I wasn't supposed to know, right? That's the real issue here. Silence. My dad called me 2 days later, his voice tight with barely contained anger. You're making a fool of yourself. This is a family matter. Stop dragging everyone else into it. It stopped being a family matter when you tried to erase me, I said. You didn't even tell me. You don't deserve it, Alex, he snapped. Lisa has a future. A family. What do you have? Your stupid little projects and your dead-end ideas. I could feel the heat rising in my face. I have just as much a right to the cabin as she does. No, you don't. We made the decision. You weren't even supposed to know. There it was. The truth, so blunt it was almost funny. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Thanks for clearing that up. I hung up. And that's when I decided I wasn't just going to be ignored. I filed an official request with the county for a review of the property transfer, explaining that I was a beneficiary of the trust and hadn't been notified. I also requested a full accounting of any expenses paid on the property using family funds. My parents were the trustees, which meant they were supposed to be acting in the best interest of all beneficiaries. Within a week, I got a letter from the county saying they would need to investigate the matter. I sent a copy of that letter to the family group chat, no message, just the letter. Then things really started falling apart. Lisa's fiancé's parents, who were always a bit snooty, suddenly messaged me on Facebook. Is there some legal issue with the cabin? They asked. I told them they should probably ask my parents. But word was out now. The family chat exploded with messages, half of them telling me I was being dramatic, the other half quietly asking what was actually going on. My mom started posting passive-aggressive quotes about family loyalty on Facebook. Lisa posted a throwback picture of us as kids at the cabin with a caption, "Good times with family sparkling heart." Comments flooded in, all supportive, and I couldn't help but feel like I was the villain of some twisted family drama. My dad tried calling again, and I answered just to see what new insult he'd throw at me. But this time he was different. Tired. Defeated. Alex, please? Can we just figure this out without all the drama? Figure it out? I tried talking to you. I tried understanding. You didn't even give me a chance. We didn't think you'd care, he mumbled. Yeah, I got that. Because you didn't even think about me. Silence. Lisa texted me again. You're ruining my wedding. I'm not ruining anything. I'm just making sure I'm not erased. Please, just let it go. You didn't even ask me if I was okay with it. You just took it. Mom and Dad said, eh? Stop hiding behind them. She didn't reply. But the fallout was just getting started. Lisa's fiancé's parents demanded to see the trust documents. My Aunt Karen was now openly on my side, asking if she could share the documents with a lawyer friend. My Uncle Rick tried calling a family meeting to calm things down, but I refused to go unless it was clear that we were actually going to address the problem. My parents sent me an email. You are making this so much harder than it needs to be. You have always been difficult. Why can't you just let Lisa be happy? I replied, maybe because you don't get to pretend I don't exist. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel invisible. I never expected it to spiral like this. What started as me trying to understand why I was left out of something that was supposed to be ours had turned into a full-blown family war. And I didn't start it, I just refused to be erased. But once it went public, it was like trying to put out a wildfire with a garden hose. The first major crack came from Lisa's fiancé's parents. They called off the wedding planning. Not because they were against Lisa, but because they didn't want their son getting tangled in a legal mess. I heard about it through my cousin Jess, who texted me saying, OMG, are you okay? Lisa's freaking out. Was I okay? Not really. But I didn't regret it. They were finally being forced to face the consequences of pretending I didn't matter. My mom called me, voice shaking with anger. Are you happy now? Lisa's wedding is on hold because you couldn't just let her have something. She didn't just have something, Mom. You gave away something that was supposed to be for both of us. You didn't even tell me. We were trying to give her a chance at a real future. You don't need it. You never settle down, you never commit it. So I don't deserve anything? I cut her off. I'm just a mistake you have to pretend doesn't exist? Don't be dramatic, Alex. I'm not being dramatic. I'm just done being treated like a ghost. She hung up. But that was just the start. The county's property review was in full swing now, and because I was officially listed as a beneficiary in the trust, they couldn't just brush it aside. They sent formal letters to my parents demanding a full accounting of the trust's management. My dad tried to play it off, saying it was a misunderstanding, but the paperwork didn't lie. Lisa started posting vague Instagram stories, black backgrounds with quotes like, sometimes the people you trust the most hurt you the worst, and family isn't always about blood. Her friends flooded her comments with sympathy. I stayed out of it. I wasn't the one who started this. They did. But I wasn't the only one who started to feel the weight of everything. My Uncle Rick, who tried to play peacekeeper, finally called me. Look, Alex, this is tearing the family apart. Isn't there any way you can just let it go? I didn't start this, Uncle Rick. They did. They lied to me, they broke the trust, and now they're mad I won't just smile and disappear. But Lisa's devastated. Her wedding. Then she shouldn't have taken something that wasn't hers without asking. I started hearing from other family members, texts, awkward phone calls, a couple of messages from cousins trying to take sides without saying they were taking sides. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't care if they saw me as the bad guy. Because I knew the truth, and now they did too. And then, the real bombshell, I got a call from a lawyer. Not when I had hired one representing the trust. It turned out my parents had never properly dissolved the trust when they gave the cabin to Lisa. Legally, it was still family property. And by trying to transfer it solely to her, they were in direct violation of the trust's terms. The lawyer explained it in blunt terms. If this goes to court, your parents could be removed as trustees for mismanagement. They may also owe you back compensation for any costs you've paid towards maintaining the property. I felt this weird mix of relief and sadness. It wasn't about the money, it never was. It was about the fact that my parents would rather break the law and lie to me than just treat me like I mattered. I sent my parents a simple email. The trust lawyer contacted me. We can either resolve this properly or it goes to court. I didn't want this. I just wanted to be treated fairly. My mom responded almost instantly, Alex, please, can we just talk? Talking is what I tried to do before you shut me out. Radio silence. A week went by. Then I got a letter from the county office confirming that the cabin's transfer had been reversed, pending a formal review of the trust. My name was back on the property records. My dad called me furious. You've ruined everything. Do you even understand what you've done? What I've done? I laughed, feeling that familiar heat rising. I didn't do anything except refuse to be ignored. You tried to cut me out. You tried to erase me. You're making us look like monsters. I didn't have to make you look like anything. Your own actions did that. He tried to argue, tried to guilt-trip me, but I was done. I told him I'd see him in court if that's what he wanted, and I hung up. Lisa tried calling, crying, saying she didn't understand how I could be so cruel. This was supposed to be a happy time for me, she sobbed. You've ruined it. I didn't ruin anything. You did when you pretended I didn't exist. Her fiancé's parents ended up demanding a prenuptial agreement and the wedding was postponed indefinitely. I felt a little guilty, just a little, but not enough to stop. Finally, a month after everything blew up, I got an email from my parents. Not an apology, but a cold, formal agreement. They would resign as trustees and a neutral third party would manage the trust. The cabin would remain family property available to both Lisa and me. They also offered to compensate me for the maintenance costs I'd paid over the years. I stared at that email for a long time. I thought I'd feel triumphant. I thought I'd feel vindicated. But mostly, I just felt tired. I replied, fine. I accept. Lisa blocked me on everything after that. My parents stopped trying to contact me. Family gatherings became awkward and tense. But I wasn't the ghost anymore. I wasn't invisible. I drove out to the cabin alone a week later, the place that had caused all this chaos. I stood on the old deck, the one I'd spent a summer repairing, listening to the wind rustling through the trees. It still felt like home, but it also felt different now. Tainted. But I wasn't tainted. I was still here. I hadn't disappeared. And I never would again.